for watching. Hi Paul, I saw your question in the chat. We won't be doing any inverted bicycles today. That'll be a funny one. Or plow or shoulder stands. I am, focusing on beginner, intermediate, and well, the bicycle we could do, but probably not inverted. Oh yeah, probably not inverted. Sorry, I forgot the mic. So hi Paul, just to come back to your question, no inverted bicycles or shoulder stands or plow. This is a beginner intermediate class, and so maybe along the way we can definitely put some plows in and shoulder stands. But for today, the class is focused on opening. So we have the Skandasana, moving from side to side. We have pigeon prep, and yeah, all-rounded practice again with enough time at the end for the trademark of Hatha Yoga, the systematic relaxation, hopefully some pranayama, and then guided meditation at the end. But yes, I see it's almost time, but I can wait a few more minutes. It's warm in Pittsburgh, and so I decided upon a practice to open up, let the energy out, let the heat out. Not so much energy, we try to contain the energy, but let the heat out. So I hope you will stay, even though there's no inverted bicycle and no inverted shoulder stand. That is also a very challenging one, obviously. But yeah, stay tuned. We're almost starting. Hi everyone, it is 1 o'clock. Hallo allemaal. Het is 1 uur. It's time to start. Time to start our Hatha practice. I'll be trying to keep it within the hour. And yeah, I hope you'll enjoy it. It's a one that is focused on opening. It's a practice that is trying to be cooling of nature, in its nature. It's warm in Pittsburgh, so I hope wherever you are practicing, you're either in a warm room or anyway, it'll do you good. Lots of stretching and a nice back bend in pigeon, and we do some alternate nostril breathing at the end as our pranayama right before our seated meditation, guided meditation. So, without further ado, ik hoop dat er ook mensen in Nederland meedoen. Het is nu 7 uur 's avonds bij jullie. It's 7 p.m. Central European time, so I hope people are joining me over there. Summer vacation is starting over here, so I might be able to put it a little later if that is more convenient for those of you, and particularly my family in the Netherlands. But yes, let me know, and I can shift those times around. But for now, let's start. It's 1 o'clock. It's 1 minute past, and let's start in Shavasana. So come to your mat. Come into Shavasana. And like we always do, just take a moment to arrive. So maybe wiggle your ankles, wiggle your hips, lift your shoulders and just let them come down to the mat. Maybe roll your head from side to side just a little, and then come to this still posture for a minute or two. In Shavasana, we would like to focus our attention at first at just observing the breath. Let the breath find its pace, the pace that is right for you. And maybe take your left hand on your lower belly and your right hand on your chest. And with this, we can just check in and see whether we are trying to get the breath to move down to the belly instead of staying up in the chest. And with your hands on your belly and chest, you can now start to feel where the breath is going. Notice your navel rising and falling with your breath. Maybe you'll notice your lower back expanding a little bit on every inhale. Relax your face, cheeks and jaw. And while we're here, let's set the intention to let our breath be the anchor for our mind during the practice. And whenever your mind starts wandering, that's fine, but just relax and see if you can focus back to the breath throughout our asanas, throughout our still moments. And let's also take a mental note of any places in your body that you want to be mindful of. Any particular places that are, needing some extra attention while we go through our practice. So then go ahead and take your arms beside your body for now. Bring your legs together. And you take your hands overhead right away. Take your arms and hands overhead and interlace the fingers. Turn the palms out, up, and just take a nice stretch. Pointing the feet, flexing the feet. Maybe reaching with your right side a little more, and then your left. Reach with both. And relax. Let your arms come down beside you. And we're not really going to stay here. We're going to roll right away on our sides and get going with a little bit of a cat-cow. And that cat-cow will move into a little flow. But let's take our first cat-cows, trying to really link them to the breath right away from the start. So on your inhale, your nose is going to go up. And you gaze up to the sky, and on your exhale, rounding your back, letting your head go, and inhale, back into your cow, exhale, cat, and just follow your breath. Just notice how your spine feels midday in your break or at the end of the day, after a long day of work. So just following the breath. See if you can make that movement continuous and your breath continuous, So no stops at those borders of your inhale and exhale. Good. Now let's take your cat-cow a little sideways. So just look over your right shoulder to your right foot and left to your left foot. Just take it a few more times, just moving a little bit lateral in your back. Good. And then let's continue with our cat-cow. So inhale to cow, exhale to cat. And then just follow along with my cues. We're going to take a little flow. So exhale, rounding into cat, pushing it back into your child's pose. Inhale, coming to all fours, curling the toes under, sending the hips up. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, forward onto all fours. Exhale, child pose. Let's take this a few times. So inhale to cow, exhale to down dog. Inhale, all fours. Exhale, child's pose. Let's take that through 3 more times with your own breath. Let that breath be continuous. Try not to make any pauses anywhere. And exhale into your down dog. Inhale, all fours. Exhale, child's pose. Good, we're going to add a little. So we're going to inhale to cow. Exhale to down dog. Inhale, come into plank. And exhale down to child's pose. Inhale, cow. Exhale, down dog. Inhale to plank. And exhale, knees down into child's pose. Just 3 more times with your breath. Let's take it 1 more time together. Inhale. And exhale, down dog. Inhale to plank. And exhale, child's pose. Good. And just stay here for a moment. Relax your arms for now. Notice how you feel in your belly. Notice the breath expanding all over your back. Good, and then take your gaze a little forward in between your hands and bring your hands into spider fingers. We're just going to walk over to the right, take a nice stretch, let your head hang in between the upper arms. But we have active fingers here, long arms. Notice the breath. Notice the gentle stretch on your left side body. Good, and then come back to the middle and walk over to the left with your spider fingers. Long arms, head is relaxing in between your upper arms. Notice what your breath is doing. See if you can feel those internal sensations. Good, and then come back to the middle, and then come back up to all fours. Maybe sit back on your heels for a moment with your toes curled under, a little stretch on the toes. And yes, we're going to continue with a little bit of hip opening, and we'll do that in, it's already a little bit of a pigeon. It's a pigeon in motion. Let me move this way. So come to your all fours and then take your right leg in the front, in between your hands. And for this one, you can stay here on fingertips and with your knee down. And what we're going to do is going to just let the knee, roll your foot onto the outside of that foot and let that knee move out to the side. Just gentle. And you can do that with the breath, inhaling out, exhaling back. And I think that was 3. Let's go for 7 more. Inhale out, exhale back. Inhale out, exhale back. And you could choose to curl that back foot under and do it in a low lunge position. Yogi's choice. Inhale, knee goes out. Exhale, knee comes back in. Good, let's take 2 more, wherever you are, with your knee down, or with your back leg stretched out. Good, and then carefully bring that leg back, and let's take immediately the left side. So I'm going to change for this one. I should have probably mentioned that on the first side, but it is, of course, very handy to use your blocks. If you need to bring the floor to you, you do that with your blocks. So either here, under your hands, maybe you need to be here, like all the different heights, of course, are handy and functional if you need to bring the floor to you. So same goes here. We're just inhaling, letting that knee move out, so behind your arm and back in. Good. Inhaling out and exhaling back in. Good. This was number 3, so we need 7 more. And if you do want a challenge, then after 5 you can maybe curl that back leg, back foot under, and press up into your low lunge. Make sure you already engage that lower abdomen here, so you're a little lifted, and then let that knee move out to the side and back. Inhale, open. Exhale, back to the middle. And your gaze can be slightly, as long as your neck is sort of long, so a little tuck of the chin. Good. Maybe the last ones with the knee down. Good. I think we're good here. So that's it for the hips. So take that front leg back carefully. So push through the hands, help yourself out there, and then put your blocks to the side and come back to all fours. And here we are gonna come into our first down dog. So curl your toes under and press back into down dog and just walk it out. We were in down dog a little earlier in our little warm-up flow, but let's alternate the knees, bending the knees here. Come to your tippy toes, really push through the hands, sending the hips backward, and then maybe bringing those heels towards the mat. Good. Find your breath. See if you can relax your shoulders while you are still pushing through the hands. Find that easy breath. Good, and then let's walk our feet up to our hands to come into our forward fold. And here in forward fold, let's just hang with our belly over our thighs for a moment. And then slowly starting to straighten up, straighten the legs, while trying as long as possible to keep that belly connected to the thighs. Let the head hang. Good. Press those heels in the mat, so your weight is a little backward, feeling the stretch in the back of the legs. Also here, obviously, not everybody is reaching the floor. Also here your blocks come in handy in your forward fold. And there we have our little Ruby. Nou, little niet, maar Cookie. Ga maar lekker liggen, het is veel te warm. So, in your forward fold, slowly stretching up, stretching out the legs, maybe alternating, bending the knees a little, why not? And let's take your right hand in the middle, and then bend your right knee and open your left arm up to the sky. Little twist, little extra stretch there on the left back leg. Good, and bring it back. And let's do that on the other side. So bending the left leg, stretching the right, opening our right arm up to the ceiling or to the sky. Find your breath and bring it back. And now we're going to come up, so bring your hands to your waist. Inhale halfway up and exhale all the way up. All right, we are up. Just take a moment to let the blood rush down away from the head again. Oh, my hair. And then we are going to continue right away into our standing postures. So yeah, let me just preface again by trying to really come back to that breath while you're moving through these asanas. When it gets harder, you know, go back to your breath. Let's see if you can keep the breath relatively easy and effortless throughout the whole asana. So let's start. Let's come into come to the wide side of your mat. Spread your legs quite wide, and your toes will be pointing to the front in first. So take a nice wide stance. Toes are to the front. Good. And then we're just going to move. We're going to bend and shift the weight to the right. And then we'll go through the middle, shift to the left. Almost like you're a skater, like those speed skaters. But, so just moving side to side, parallel here. Working the quads, but also finding that inner stretch of the legs. Inner legs, a little stretch. You can take your hands along if that feels good. Good, just following, taking the breath along. Good. And now we've warmed up the legs a little bit. Let's take the feet wider and let's move in this open position. Just trying to track the knee over the toes, just left to right. You can pull up your foot into a flex position of that elongated leg. Just moving side to side. So this is eventually heavy on the quads. See how you go. So you can stay here for a moment, or we can try now to really come down on the right. So take your hands down. Maybe your heel is coming up. That's totally fine. But make sure that the long leg has nice, the knee is facing up and the toes are up too. Good. And just sit here for a moment. Feel the stretch here on that left inside of the leg. But also your right inner thigh is activated. Good. And then with the help of your hand, move to the left. So if you need to pick up your buttocks, totally fine. Move to the left and find your position here. And maybe your heel comes up just like mine. That's totally fine. But see if you can find that length in the back. You're trying to send those sits bones backward, tilting maybe your hips a little forward, but not too much, because we want to have that leg, the kneecap facing up, toes up. So that's the most important. So don't take that hip comment. Make sure that knee is up and the toes are up. Good. And then let's move a few times from side to side. You might have to wiggle that foot a little bit, but just moving here from side to side. Helping yourself with your hand. And maybe you're here. But then you'll probably have to take a break earlier for your quads, so do what feels good. We're just moving from Skandasana to Skandasana here. Stretching the insides and the backs of the legs. Good. Okay, let's move one more time to the left. And see, maybe a little challenge. See if you can lift up in the pelvic floor. Find your balance. And maybe take your hands to heart. That is a big challenge though. Length in the back. It almost gets easier when you can get your whole heel on the floor. But then you don't want to really sit in it. You want to have a little bit of lift. And then hands to heart. Good. And then with the help of your hands, for now, let's come to the other side. So either with your heel up, and you can always find a little support to put under there, but you can also have your hands as a support in front. Or you're maybe here with your heel down. And then see if you can, in this position, kneecap activated, toes up, long back, long neck. Good. And then move yourself up to the middle. We're taking our toes to the front. Hands in the at your waist. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, all the way up. Very good. Shake out the legs. Maybe take a sip of water. If it's 28 degrees with you too, 28 Celsius. It doesn't look much because there's no sun, but it's hot. Okay, so we warmed up the legs. We're going to just take a little forward fold here, in a spread-legged forward fold. But take your block right away and put it in the middle. So, and in our forward fold, we are going to keep our toes to the front. So let's take our arms to the side on an inhale, and exhale. We are hinging from the hips forward. You can take a little micro bend in the knees. Hinge forward, flat back, arms long, lower abdomen towards working, activated, belly button working towards the spine. Feel that long back, long neck. Sits bones trying to turn up. Good, and then release to the floor, find your block, put your hands there, and then once you get down, see if you can push through the hands and elongate through the back again, but now with the support of the block. And in this position, we're going to take down our right hand and we're going to open on our left, so our left arm opens up like a little, as if you're pulling an arrow back on a bow. You pull that arm back up past your body, all the way up to the ceiling. And once you've found that long arm and your breath, maybe then you can take your gaze all the way up to. Find your breath here. Push through that supporting hand on the block or wherever you are. Maybe you're on the floor with your hand. And then bring that left one back. And then we do the same on the right. So really pushing through that left hand, opening on the right now. Every side can feel very different. So if you found that reach, the length in that right hand, you're noticing your sits bones trying to work backward, and maybe you have a micro bend in the knee. Lower abdomen engaged, belly button working to spine. And when you have found your breath here in this position, maybe then you can take your gaze all the way up and find your breath again. Good, and then bring that arm back down to the middle. Let's just bend those, let's take the feet a little in, so move the heels in, toes in, heel toes into this hip width stance with the feet. Let your head hang. Shake yes and shake no. And then we're going to come up again. So hands at your waist. Inhale halfway up. And exhale all the way up. Very good. Let's continue. We're going to do, this was all very opening. Let's take our sun salutation and then work that into a warrior 3. So let's come to the top of your mat. And take a nice big inhale, so your feet are hip width apart, hands at the heart. When you're ready, let's take a big inhale, inhale up, and exhale, fold. Inhale halfway up, and exhale, fold. Plant your palms, step your right foot back, and your left into down dog. Inhale to plank, exhale down to the floor. Inhale, little cobra, and exhale, back to down dog. Good. Step your right foot up and your left foot up. And then we take one big inhale, inhale all the way up, arms by the side. Exhale, hands to heart, and when your hands reach your heart, shift your weight on the left, lift your right leg up. Find your balance here on your left leg. See if you can engage a little around the buttocks, so squeeze the buttocks a little. Find your balance. Now we're going to move, so take your arms beside your body and bring that right foot back into your warrior 3. Good. Maybe your warrior 3 is here, or here, or more here. Make sure that back leg, the toes are turned under. And with every change you make, come back to that breath. Find your breath again. Good. And then come back up on the inhale. Knee comes up. Exhale, down. Let's take it on the left. Inhale. And exhale, fold. Let's move a little. Inhale up and exhale, fold. Plant your palms, step your left foot back. Maybe rock back and forth for just a moment. And then plant your palms, step your right foot back into down dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale, down to the floor. Inhale, little cobra. And exhale, back to down dog. Good. Step your left foot up and your right foot. Good. And then we take one big inhale all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart. This time we shift our weight to the right leg, lift our left knee. First, find your balance here. Feel your foot on the mat, strong leg, lifting your kneecap, or maybe a micro bend. You can do that too. Anywhere at the wall, cupboard is always good. Good. When you found your balance, then we're going to let our arms go. Find your breath, even though our glutes and quads are screaming at us. Good. And next inhale, come all the way up. Take that knee back up too. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale, fold. Plant your palms, step your right foot back and your left foot back into down dog. Exhale, here we go. Knees down, chest, so you're bending at the elbows, elbows going back, chest on the floor, and chin. In our 8-point pose. Good. And then on your next inhale, move all the way down to the mat. Inhale, and exhale, back to down dog. Inhale, step your right foot up, and your left. Inhale, all the way up, and exhale, hands to heart. Let me take it further on the left. Inhale, and exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale, fold. Let your palms step your left foot back. And your right foot back into down dog. Coming into your plank. Good. And now it's knees, elbows back, chest, and chin. Legs come down, lower legs are also. The little back bend here in the lower back. Bring those elbows towards the back. Good. Inhale to cobra. And exhale, back to down dog. Inhale, step your left foot up and your right. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart. Good. Just stay here for a moment. Keep your eyes closed or a soft gaze down to the floor. Little engagement around the hips. And maybe lifting the pelvic floor here in mountain pose. Trying to keep our energy balances in check. Good, just notice how you feel after those sun salutations with Warrior 3 and 8-point pose. Good, all right, bring your arms next to your body, and then whatever you need, we are moving down to the floor. Maybe you do with a body roll, or you just think, no, it's fine, I'm just gonna go down just like that. Also fine. We are continuing with our inverted action. So again, opening up, three-legged dog, opening up the hip, where we try to stack our hips. Yeah, let's continue. So come to all fours for our inverted action. Press through the hands, go your toes under. Let's come into down dog. Take one breath here, really notice the push through the hands. See if you can relax the neck and the shoulders a little bit. Finding that belly breath. Good, and then lift that right leg up. Bend the knee, open the hips. See if you can stack the hips above each other. Good, and you can take your gaze under that right armpit. Find your breath. Try to push equally through both hands. Notice the opening on your right side body. Feel the breath trying to move in that area. One more breath. And then bring that hip back into parallel. Extend your leg and bring it back to down dog. We're gonna stay here. Anyone who needs a break can always push back into child's pose. Otherwise, we're just gonna continue on the left. So left leg comes up, bending the knee, and then opening the hips, stacking the hips above each other, taking your gaze under your left armpit. Find your breath. And once you got back on track with your breath, your mind on your breath, see if you can notice where that breath is moving on your left side body. Pressing both equally through both hands. One more breath. And then closing the hips, bringing them back parallel, extending that left leg and slowly bringing it down. Bending the knees, take the knees a little wider and push back into child's pose. You can take your hands back to really relax them after all that pushing, or wherever they feel most comfortable for you. Maybe in a little circle around your head. And come back to your breath. Let your belly move in and out. Relax your abdomen. Relax your face. Anchor your mind on the breath. Notice where it's going. Good, and then carefully lift your head up and come back into onto all fours. So push back up out of your child's pose into all fours, and if it's too much for you to move back in a down dog again, you can always just come from all fours. So take your right leg and bring it in, your knee behind your hand, and then wiggle that left foot back a little. So come then down to your forearms for a moment, and find your position here in pigeon prep. Some of you might need something under the buttocks for extra support. So let your head rest on your forearms for now. And then we've had 2 or 3 breaths. Then we're going to take our arms in front and we're going to lift a little more. Take 2 more breaths here, sort of with Sphinx arms, if you will. So forearms on the floor, fingers forward. Find that engagement in the lower abdomen. And then take it one hand in toward you again, so pushing up a little taller here in pigeon prep. And if I didn't see it already, you can just be here with your heel at your groin. And take your hands a little closer if it feels good. Press through the fingertips. Keep that engagement of the lower abdomen, noticing the back bend increasing here in the lower back. And anyone who wants to take it further, you can put the hands beside your knee and then push up a little more. Good. One more breath. Big ant. Good. And then come back, relax that back a little bit and then push back either onto all fours or back into downward dog. And then we're going to take that on the left. So take your left knee forward, left knee to left hand. Your heel comes in the area of your groin, and then move that back leg out a little longer, and then come onto your forearms first. So first on the forearms for 2 breaths. Big stretch for the hamstrings too. And then come to your Sphinx arms, maybe pull those elbows in a little. Find that engagement at your lower abdomen. Chin a little tucked, chin a little tucked to keep your neck long. Noticing that breath there in the belly having all the room to move out and in on your in and exhale. And then slide your hands, one hand length closer to you, push up there, push through the hands. Keep that engagement at the lower abdomen. Bring them a little bit more close, maybe even on the fingertips. Notice also the stretch on your front right thigh. And maybe taking those fingers beside your knees and push through those fingertips a little more up if that's available. If not, totally fine. You decide the intensity and good. One more breath. And on your exhale, let's come back to the floor. Let's come to our forearms again, or to our hands, sorry, because we need to get that knee out of there. So curl that back foot under of your back leg and then see if you can push back into down dog. Good. And then knees to the floor, belly to the floor, and just hands, forearms folded, head on your forehead, forehead on your arms, my apologies. Rock your head from side to side. Take your feet up and do the same. Good. And then let's push up and out from this. So come back up and come seated with your legs out in front into staff pose. I'll take it a bit like this. And you could already take a little blanket here to help out your lower back. And sit on a blanket here so our lower back is not collapsing, but we can still come up onto our sit bones. So here in staff pose, we are going to feel the backs of our legs on the floor. So your calves, feet are nice and active. Feel the length in the lower back, long neck. Good, and then take your right knee in and let it move out to the side. So have your right foot pressing into your left thigh. So your right knee moves out to the side. And again here, everyone's anatomy is different. Everyone's flexibility is different. So take your props. So take, for example, here a block to make sure you can kind of let go of that hip flexor here when you're here in this position. So here we are on our sits bones, active left leg, right leg is bent. We're gonna take our arms up on an inhale. We're gonna move our body towards that bent leg, and then we're gonna take our left hand to that right knee, and we're gonna see if we can take a nice stretch here with our right hand in the, how do you call it? Direction of that left foot. But see if we can keep that shoulder open and then move towards that foot with our hands. Imagine that a line coming from our hands like a Spider-Man line, web, opening here, the side body. So it's like a twist and a lateral stretch on the right. And maybe we take a little movement here. With the inhale, we come up. And exhale, we take our stretch. Inhale, come up. And exhale, stretch. Let's take one more. Inhale. And exhale, stretch. Thank you, that's very nice. I'm getting some air in here. Good. Come out. So take that arm down. But now first take your torso back to the middle. Bring your knee back in and extend it to the front. And just sit here in that staff pose and notice your right side. How does your right side feel compared to your left? Take a little note if you can. In your head, I mean. Okay, let's do this on the left. So take your left knee in, let it flap open. Maybe use a block if you need to. Left foot into the right inner thigh. Good. And we go again. We inhale. This right leg is extended and foot is active on the right leg. And then we're going to move towards the bent leg. Take our right hand to that left knee. Left hand comes. We can take it behind us for just a moment to feel the length here. See if maybe you started slumping a bit. So see if you can really keep up, lifting out of that lower back. Good. Let's take that arm up on an inhale. And exhale, see if we can make that little lateral stretch here to the right. So our left hand tries to reach for the right toes. And often we see us going like this, but see if we can, keep the shoulders above from each other. So get this nice high twist here. And then maybe you don't, of course, you're nowhere near to your toes. That's fine. We are no contortionists here. So just see that you find that opening here on the chest. The long arm above. And let's move a little with the breath. So inhale, come up. And exhale, stretch. Inhale up. And exhale, move into that stretch on the left, lateral stretch. Let's take that 2 more times. Exhale. Inhale up. Last one. Exhale. And inhale up. Good. And bring that arm down. Bring your torso back to the middle. And then knee up. Extend the leg. And just notice for a moment here. Maybe close your eyes. Good. All right. Well, from this position, we're going to bring on in our feet and come into a butterfly. So just, you can still keep seated on that blanket if you had it. And then let's come into butterfly, for our forward fold. So you can take them as close. Try to bring them as close as possible together. And then we're going to hold at the ankles. We're going to lift up out of that lower back. and hinge from the hips with a straight back until we can't keep that straight back anymore. And then let's round and fold forward. You can let your elbows rest on the inside of your lower legs and then let your head go too. Feel the stretch over your whole backside. With every inhale, you might notice expansion there in your lower back and on the sides of your back. And in your forward fold, see if you can relax your face, cheeks, jaws. Good. And then first bring your head back into a neutral position and then lift up and out of that forward fold. Good. Bring your knees together. We are moving towards our supported bridge. So come on your buttocks and your feet, the soles of your feet on the floor, and take your block for inverted action. So roll onto your back. Good. Place your feet. Engage around the buttocks, lift the hips, put the block under. Good. Now make sure you curl your shoulders under, active arms. Next step, lifting the feet and the knees. Maybe rock from left to right a little massage there at the lower back. And then extend your feet up to the ceiling. Just let your feet hang out, not doing anything. Keep those active arms. We don't want any pressure on our neck here. So keep those shoulders nicely curled under. Arms actively engaged, making contact with the mat. And once you've come back to your breath, see if you can start noticing the breath at the nose. The subtle breath at the tip of your nose. Good, and then bend the knees, bring your feet down, take away the block. I always like to engage around the buttocks before I lift up out of that position. And then take your shoulders apart, so to speak, and just notice your back here for a moment. And then let's continue into Shavasana. So move your legs out, take any props you need, maybe a bolster or a blanket or pillows under the backs of your knees, or something under your head. We're going to go through a body scan, but first we're going to find stillness. First we're going to notice the breath. Trying to relax our face and all the muscles around our head. Let your head be heavy on the mat. Relax your cheeks, jaws, tongue in your mouth. Soften the sides of your neck, your throat, relax your collarbones, relax your shoulders. Soften your upper arms, lower arms. Let your hands rest. Relax your fingers. And see if you can sense for the tips of your for your fingertips. Relaxing your wrists, your underarms, upper arms, letting go of the shoulders, chest, soften the chest, soften your abdomen, let go of any tension around the hips. Relax your quads, knees, shins, ankles, feet, all the way into the tips of your toes. Softening the soles of your feet. Letting your heels rest. Relaxing your calves, hamstrings, your glutes. Excuse me. Relax your lower back, the middle of your back, your upper back, back of your neck, feel the back of your head resting. Let go of any tension around your face, muscles around your head. Start to wiggle your toes and your fingers. Maybe take a breath, trying to fill out on the inhale to every little crook and cranny. Exhale, release. Good. And then bring the soles of your feet to the mat. Let your knees come down to one side and then slowly roll onto your side. Take one breath here and then push yourself up to seated. And let's come into an upright position, maybe with a little pillow under your buttocks. We would like to, whatever easy seat for you. Maybe it's like this. That's fine if easy pose is not accessible or auspicious pose is not accessible. But if you can have your hips a little higher than your knees, ideally. Good. Find a little engagement at the lower abdomen, sitting nicely up with a long elongated lower back, hands resting on the knees. Let's take a few rounds of this alternate nostril breathing, which is beneficial for your nervous system. It can calm your nervous system down, and not that we're probably very upregulated or anything, but it's always a good practice right before seated meditation. So let's take your right hand, fold your index finger and your middle finger to the palm of your hand, so you have your thumb and your ring finger ready. And in this alternate nostril breathing, we'll be taking a nice inhale through both, and then we're going to close off one side, so for example our right. And so the first thing we do is exhale on the left and inhale on the left. Then we're going to close that left side, and we're going to first exhale on the right, inhale on the left. So it's important that you always, once your nostril opens, you first exhale on that side. So let's try it a few times. So take a nice inhale, have your hand ready. And on the exhale, we're going to close off the right and exhale through the left. Inhale left. Close the left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close the right. Exhale left. Inhale left. And continue. Close. Exhale on the right. Inhale. Close. Exhale on the left. Inhale. Make sure you don't push your nose out of alignment. When closing off a nostril. And let your breath be silent. Good, and then take away your hand and just continue breathing through both nostrils in and out. Keep your eyes closed if you can, or a soft gaze down to the floor. And see if you can let your attention rest at your forehead. Move down to your eyebrow center, right behind your eyes, sort of. Move down to your throat center. Move your attention to your heart space, right behind your sternum. Down to your navel center. Down to the middle of your pelvis, right behind your pubic bone. down to the base of your spine. Back up to the middle of your pelvis. Up to your navel. Up to your heart space. Up to your throat. Up to the middle of your eyes and the middle of your brain. And back up to your forehead. And up to the crown of your head. Bring your awareness back to your heart, and let's take our hands at the heart and fold forward to seal in the benefits of your practice. And come back up. Namaste. Thank you. A little overtime, 2-3 minutes overtime. But thank you. Thank you for joining me. Hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, hope to see you for the next one. That'll be on Friday. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. Maybe even subscribe. And then I'll see you on Friday. I'm always open for requests or suggestions. So drop me a note down below, and enjoy the rest of your day or evening. See you next time. Thank you. Valt wel mee, hè? Minder warm dan ik dacht. Ja. Komt door de fan, denk ik. Lekker hier met de fan. Met de benen wijd. Jij ook met de benen wijd. Ja hoor. Goed zo, babe. Die zit er weer op.